them Tar Heels. They are the national champions.
We're back for the first time this season. It's time for a rapid reactions edition of the Carolina Insider presented by Modelo. As we have the last several years, Adam Lucas and I will be here after Tar Heel home games to break it down. And Adam, a fun one to break down tonight as Carolina blasts past Central Arkansas by 40 in the Smith Center. Carolina is more talented, of course, than Central Arkansas, Adam, but the Tar Heels left no doubt tonight, which was good to see. Led by nearly 30 at halftime. Had one little stretch in the second half where there was a bit of a lull, but other than that, this was a really impressive performance.
Tar Heels did all the things they should do against a team like that. Controlled the paint, were able to get out and transition and run, get plenty of crowd-pleasing dunks, play pretty good defense, and show off some brand-new talent that folks were excited to see and got an eyeful of it tonight.
Adam, there's a lot of pieces to this puzzle. I think there's two individuals that I think people were probably most intrigued by tonight. One is Caleb Wilson, and we have seen Caleb Wilson in the two exhibition games play at a high level, and he continued that tonight. He was uber efficient, 8 of 10 from the floor, 5 of 6 at the free throw line, 22 points to lead all scorers. So including the two exhibition games, he's been 20-plus in every game. And then, of course, Luka Bogovac. And quite literally, well, I tell you what, let's start with Caleb Wilson. Caleb Wilson was awesome tonight for the Tar Heels.
And put up that stat line you talked about in just under 25 minutes. Yeah. I mean, Carolina didn't even need him out there a ton, but when he was out there, he was so impactful. He's also impactful defensively. He makes things difficult when he can use him guarding a lot of different guys. Feels like he's always around the ball, involved in several highlight reel plays tonight that you'll see on the end of season highlight reel. They were that good, and he's the kind of player Carolina had a while. And he talked in here with us about his passing. Had a couple nice passes tonight, kind of quietly.
Yeah, I mean, you just saw it in that highlight package. Caleb Wilson had 8 made field goals, and 7 of them were dunks. That's crazy. But he was violent around the rim. He looks to get to the rim, I think maybe more than – he and Seth Trimble look to get to the rim as much as anybody on Carolina's team, and Wilson certainly is equipped to finish at the rim.
Sometimes he and Seth Trimble try to get to the rim together.
Same time.
I don't know if I've ever seen that.
Yeah, at one point Carolina had an alley-oop that both Trimble and Wilson thought were for them, and they ran into each other in midair. It's a good problem to have, I'd say. Adam, the other storyline here is Luka Bogovac, as I was saying, right up until the last moments before the game. Carolina was unsure whether or not Bogovac would be available to play. He was, and even though he was not anticipating playing, was thrown into the fire and looked okay. I mean, not the most efficient game in the world, 3 of 9 from the field, 1 of 5 from 3, but for a guy who wasn't anticipating playing, 10 points, 5 assists, just 1 turnover, and the skill is obvious.
Tied for the team high with those 5 assists. Kyan Evans also had 5. I think everyone expects him to come out and just be this 3-point marksman who only shoots threes. I think what we've seen from him more in the couple months he's been here, he can do that, but he's also pretty effective in the mid-range and then also getting to the rim as he did tonight when defenses kind of underrate his ability to do that. He's able to take advantage of it. I think he's going to be effective from maybe like 14 to 18 feet just as much as beyond the three-point line, which gives the Carolina offense another element. And the passing. I mean, he's just a mature basketball player because he's 22 years old. He's played against pros. And he looked like it even tonight on a night when he wasn't really expecting to be out there until a few minutes beforehand.
So if you haven't been with us before on one of these rapid reactions pods, Adam and I will talk a little bit like we have just done. And then we're going to get to some interviews. I was able to sit down with Coach Davis. Adam spoke to Henry Vasar. Henry's first career double-double, 14 points, 10 rebounds, 6 of 9 from the floor. So a good night for the Arizona transfer as well. So let's hear those two interviews. I sat down with Coach Davis, Adam with Henry Vasar, and then we'll come back and wrap things up here on the Rapid Reactions edition of the Carolina Insider. As always, we're joined by the head coach of the Tar Heels, Hubert Davis. Again, that final score, 94-54. Coach, gosh, from the very jump, your team was energized, was pushing the ball up and down the floor, and a lot of guys got involved. I figure a lot from your squad.
I was. One of the things that after the game I spoke with the team about was, just how well they prepared for this game. When you talk about Central Arkansas, it's a lot of moving parts. I mean, from an offensive standpoint, back cuts, curls, all kinds of stuff, Princeton actions. And so, you've got to be tied together, lots of communication. And we worked 3.5 days on just even in shoot around. We worked on defensive stations just to make sure guys would be in the right spot. And so how they responded defensively, I was really happy with. And then, we finished our possessions with a rebound. Obviously, we had size over them, but they're a good offensive rebounding team. And so when we can rebound, it allows us to get out in transition where already we're pretty good.
26 fast break points tonight, 46 points in the paint, 23 assists on 33 field goals. Just all numbers I would assume are very attractive.
Yeah, the points in the paint's the one. Well, two things. One, the points in the paint. That was an emphasis for us over the last 3 days of practice is get the ball inside. I've always said I want to dominate points in the paint through post penetration, offensive rebounding, and I felt like we were intentional, whether it's in transition on the half court, looking inside and trying to attack the rim and living in the paint, living at the free throw line, and then just the assists. I felt like the sharing the basketball, sometimes we overshared and resulted. Felt like we were always looking good to great on the offensive end, and I think that's why a number of people scored in double figures.
Coach Caleb Wilson, 22 points. He made 8 field goals. One of them was a 3, and the other 7 were dunks. A violent performance from him at the rim tonight. Just so much talent from that young man.
Yeah, I would be violent at the rim as well if I was 6'11" and can jump like that. No, his energy is live, and his effort out there on the floor just instinctively just finds the ball. And you can see him on defensively, his ability to be able to switch and do other things and rebound. I was really happy with his performance, and it's a good start for the freshman.
So, Coach, in our pregame conversation, we spoke about Luka Bogovac, and you said you weren't 100% sure at that point, and the basketball program. That's right. The basketball program. Oh, I know. Basketball program, the university's still working it out, and then fortunately, Luka's out there tonight. Take us through kind of that process, and then your thoughts on his performance this evening.
Yeah, when we spoke before the game, we were working on it, and we were making progress, and then right before the game, we found out that he was cleared to play, and just to see the smile on his face, here's a kid that comes from Montenegro and just has a burning desire to be a part of this team, this program, this university, and this community. And his mom is over here. She's been over here a week. She's here 2 more weeks. And just to see the smile on his face when he heard the news, and then him putting on his uniform and checking in the game, it was a beautiful moment. I'm really happy for him.
How does he change your team now that he's available?
Well, now, a number of different ways. We always – I've talked about our size and that we're much bigger this year, but not just in the front court positional size. So, Luka's 6'6", 6'7" guard that can shoot threes, he can handle, he can distribute. He scored in double figures. He had 5 assists. He can rebound. He's another playmaker out there on the floor, and that's exactly what we need. And, again, I'm just ecstatic that him given the opportunity to be able to play tonight.
Last thing, Coach, I think a lot of people have highlighted this upcoming matchup with Kansas, an exciting game here in the Smith Center on Friday night. What's on the top of your list of to do between now and the end of the week when the Jayhawks are in town?
Well, the first thing that I want to do is celebrate today. I think it's anytime you can win a game in conference, out of conference, I think you should celebrate it. And so that's birthday. And so we'll continue to celebrate her. And then tomorrow we'll get back and start preparing for a really good Kansas team when they come here on Friday.
That game's at 7 o'clock on Friday night, but for tonight, a lot to celebrate for Carolina. 94-54, the final score. Heels get the season opening win. Coach, congratulations on the win, and look forward to talking with you later in the week. And happy birthday to Leslie.
All right, yeah, happy birthday, Leslie.
That's Seaver Davis guys back here in a very happy Tar Heel locker room.
Alongside very happy Tar Heel, Henry Vasar gets a double-double in his first official game as a Tar Heel. Henry, what'd you see out there that you liked today as Carolina got a 40-point win over Central Arkansas?
We shared the ball really good as a team. I think we had like 23 assists, so that's amazing. As long as we keep that up, I think we should be really good for it no matter what the games. We played with great effort, like Zayden diving on a loose ball, like that's winning plays. And after that, Caleb got a dunk, so just seeing stuff like that, like that's winning mentality, and we need to keep that up. Even if we were up like 25, I think at that point, he still dove on the ball, and that's really impressive.
23 assists on 33 field goals, as you mentioned, the 23 assists. That's a really big number. A lot of those from big to big. What enables this team to be so good throwing those passes high-low?
I mean, we have really good shooters, and we have a lot. We kind of knew that they were going to switch, and like they did the whole game. They switched 1 to 5. So all we just need to kind of do was other big to lift up early, and that way we were able to get the big connection, and that's what we played into. And that way, like we got a lot of assists because you don't really need to dribble for that. You just catch and go up.
You set your career rebounding high tonight with 10 and got your first collegiate double-double. What have you been working on rebounding-wise? We've seen you have a big impact on the offensive glass. Tonight you also did it on the defensive boards as well.
Yeah, me and Big Man have a lot talked about defensive rebounding, trying to get that up. And like last game, I think I had like 1 rebound for playing for 20 minutes in an expedition game. Like that was embarrassing, so I can't keep that up. So I knew today I had a chip on my shoulder, trying to improve on that and just trying to set the tone for the season. Just kind of get the 10 rebounds. I think that was good, and trying to keep that up for the rest of the year.
What did Coach May point out to you specifically that he wanted you to do better to put yourself in position to get those defensive boards?
I feel like just kind of doing the early work, doing the early bucks out. That way you can release and actually go get the rebound rather than just stay there and hold him. I feel like it also depends on the personnel that you're guarding. If you have a really good offensive rebounder, then maybe you need the first and second and third hit, and then if the ball comes your way, you get to get on the defensive side. But if the guy's not really going after the first connection, then you got to release, not just stay there.
This team really ran the floor well, especially in the first half, and Coach Davis has been talking about that a ton in practice. What's the potential for this team as far as tempo?
I mean, Coach Davis always preaches it, like after missed baskets, got to be there in 4, after made basket, 3 seconds. So it's like just keeping that. Then when we get stops, it's easy to run because we get the rebound. They're right there with us. We get it out, then we get it quickly on the offense, and that's just what we kind of did, and we executed really well.
I know you've been seeing him for several months. Tar Heel fans got their first look at Luka Bogovac tonight. What does he add to this team? How does he make the Tar Heels better?
I mean, he's a really good shooter, and we could see how his like ball handling, just playing at his own pace and kind of drawing fouls and just sinking in the defense. And he's a very willing passer, just passing it out or getting up his little shots like mid-range or floaters. He's really good at that.
Tar Heel fans are going to love this guy. Henry Vasar, double-double in his first game as a Tar Heel. Henry, thank you.
Thank you.
So, again, 94-54, the final score in at the Smith Center. Adam, I just want to – some of those numbers that I mentioned to Coach Davis, I just wanted to mention again. I mean, 26-3 fast break points, 46-20 points in the paint, 23 assists on 33 field goals. Again, Carolina was much more talented than Central Arkansas, but those are good numbers, and you would think especially the assist numbers are one that can travel regardless of opponent.
Well, in the fast break points, I think 16 of Carolina's first 31 points were in transition. So when they were taking control of the game, they were doing it by getting stops and then running. Ended up holding Central Arkansas to 31% from the field. The ball movement really is something. I mean, that's how you got all those assists, and there were some that were left on the table. Tar Heels missed a dunk. They missed another wide-open layup. I mean, that's 2 just right there. The willingness for everyone to, as Coach Davis said with you, go from good to great, which he talks about all the time, is really impressive. And when all 5 guys on the floor doing that, it's pretty to watch.
So Kansas coming to town on Friday. First time ever that the Jayhawks have been in Chapel Hill. Deep history between these two teams. Kansas has had Carolina's number in the last couple of meetings. Really good game last year between these two. The Jayhawks ended up winning in the final moments in Lawrence. Adam, it'll be electric in the Smith Center. People have circled this game for a while. And it's an important game for the Tar Heels because Carolina, after that, there's 3 or 4 games in a row that the Tar Heels are going to be heavily favored to win. And so this will be the best early chance to see how Carolina measures up against another team that's ranked in the top 25.
This will set the pre-Thanksgiving tone for how people talk about Carolina. We were both fortunate enough to be in Lawrence last year, and it just felt like a really big deal having these two teams together on campus, which they very, very rarely do. And it'll feel that same way on Friday night in Chapel Hill. There'll be a decent amount of Kansas fans here who have circled the chance to come to Chapel Hill, just like Carolina fans made the trip to Lawrence last year. So just going to be a great environment, two great programs, two of the very, very, very best programs. And you just don't, we've never seen this in Chapel Hill. So I would expect it to be one of the all-time crowds at the Smith Center.
That is Friday, 7 o'clock. We will have a rapid reactions after that as well. So looking forward to that. We'll be on the air radio-wise at 6 p.m. But as Hubert Davis said, for tonight, at least the rest of the night, going to be really happy about this season opening win. It's the 21st consecutive season opening win for the Tar Heels. Carolina now in 116 years is 104-12 in season openers. They added one to the right tally again tonight. 94-54, the final score in the Smith Center. That'll do it for us here on the Carolina Insider Rapid Reactions Edition, presented by Modelo.
Jordan, look at that! May for the win. Got it! May! How about them Tar Heels? They are the national champions.